Hey guys, what's up? I hope everyone's having a great day, and I hope this video is going to be useful. So it's a bit different, but a question I get asked quite often is, what do I need to do to compete? Or how long will it take me to compete? Or when can I compete? Okay, and that's such a hard question to answer. It's always amazing to hear. It's always really, really good thing to hear. You love hearing people keen and interested, but more often than not, the people aren't doing the right things. Okay, so this video is just I can't tell you off the bat what you need to do, but I can give you an idea of the things a coach is gonna look out for in order to offer you the opportunity to fight. Okay? So at Gym 01, we have this minimum standard that your training's got to hit. Okay, and that's not to be mean. That's not you got to work hard. Well, it is you've got to work hard, but you've got to work hard because it's quite dangerous. Okay, you can't really play when it comes to combat sports. We need to know that if we're putting somebody forward, they're ready to compete. Okay, and this as well doesn't mean once you hit the standard of training, you're ready to go. It means you've got to find this good standard of training, and you need to be consistent with that. Okay, just because you've been training for a month doesn't mean you're ready to jump in. It's usually about six plus months. You need to be at a good level of training, consistently hitting what's expected of you, and that's when the opportunities will start to come in for you to compete. What's expected of you is going to vary massively depending on what discipline you're thinking about, who you're training with, way of training. A good rule of thumb that I like to think about is how I break up different elements of my training. Okay, you're always expecting to see about 4 technique sessions a week. So technique sessions where you're getting faster, better, sharper. Okay, you're working on your technique. On top of those, you've got to add in your fitness. So while you're learning your technique is not the same point where you're working on your fitness. Your cardio sessions, your strength conditioning, that's going to be separate. That's something you go and do in your own time. Okay, because your coach shouldn't really be focusing on getting you fit. Your coach should be focusing on getting you better. So your coach has got to rely on you yourself to go out in your own time, do your extra runs, do your sprints, do your bag work, hit some weights, do what you need to do to make sure you're ready. Okay. On top of that, you've got to make sure you're getting enough sparring rounds in. So a dedicated session each week, minimum of 1 session each week. You need to be making sure you're getting a good amount of sparring rounds in. And then on top of that, obviously you've got your technique sessions and you've got your fitness and your strength conditioning. Okay, there's a good reason for this, and it's because you'll have this walk to the cage or to the ring or to the mat, and you'll have these questions going through your head. And the one thing you can control is the training you've done beforehand. So if you're walking to the cage and you know you've hit for the last 6 to 10 weeks, you know you've hit your good 2 hard cardio sessions a week, you've been on top of your strength conditioning, you've been hitting 4 technique sessions a week minimum, and you've been getting extra sparring rounds in, that's all your minimum, then in your head you know you've done what you need to. In your head you'll be nervous maybe, but you should be excited to go in and show the hard work that you've had. So the last thing I'll touch on really briefly before rambling on too long, making this video really boring, is your weight. Okay, maybe like the biggest headache for some people from a fight camp is the weight, and it shouldn't be the biggest headache. Your fight camp is going to be about 6 to 10 weeks when you compete, and this time, it should be clear, this time is to get you stronger, to get you fitter, to get you faster, and to get you better. This time isn't to get you down to weight. Okay, that's part of it, but we've already talked about the training that's involved. Quite a lot of training goes into this, and you're not giving yourself the best opportunity to perform well if you're doing all that training for those 6 to 10 weeks on a really, really severely restricted calorie intake. You're just making it much harder for yourself. And that's it. I'm cutting myself off before I start rambling too much, but I hope you found this useful. A little insight into what might be going through a coach's head when you ask them about competing. Biggest thing to take away is the consistency. Whether you're interested in competing in 2 weeks, in 6 months, or in next year, it's consistency in the training all year round. that's gonna pay off in the end. Okay? But thank you very much. Like I say, I hope you found this useful, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.